So just 3 hours after Trump was almost assassinated by the Democrats, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and the deep state, he called RFK Jr., Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and asked him for an endorsement. He wanted to meet with him. Okay, now that's pretty awesome that 3 hours later he's going, yeah, I got to call Kennedy. So this was the best idea he ever came up with, because RFK Jr. is making an amazing case. Now, I don't think Trump's going to do half of what he says he's going to do. But anyway, this is a big, big moment in one of Trump's rallies recently, where, as we went over in our last video, he calls out a mother who was jailed by none other than the one and only Kamala Harris. Why? Because her kids were absent from school, her daughter. And you're going to see why her kid was absent from school. And when I show you this, I want you to understand why this absolute dummy should not be in political office in general in the first place, and why she should not be the president of the United States, because this could also be your children. I'm just saying, this could also be you. So let's go ahead and take a look, and then we'll come back and talk about it.
Oh, I want to point out somebody who's in the audience tonight. She's a woman named Sherry Peebles. And Sherry, are you here? Will you stand up if I can point you out? Okay, so Sherry Peebles is an African-American woman who has a daughter, Shayna, a straight-A student. She missed 60 days of school because she was in a hospital because she had sickle cell anemia. And her mom, Sherry, filled out all the forms, the federal and the state forms, explaining why she was missing her school. She did her schoolwork every day. She got straight A's, as I said. But Kamala Harris was the Attorney General of California. And Kamala Harris learned that the state was losing $1.3 billion a year because of truancy. And she said, I want that money. So I'm going to start putting parents in jail whose children skip too much school. Oh, she arrested Sherry Peebles in her home. The police came in and handcuffed her. And when she said, why am I being handcuffed? The police said to her, talk to Kamala Harris. They didn't want to be doing it either. She lost her job. She lost her home. And she still raised an extraordinary child. Don't you want a president of the United States who's going to end chronic disease rather than putting parents in jail? Don't you want an America president who's going to make our country healthy again?
Okay, so now you get it. So instead of understanding the situation, right? This parent, Sherry Peebles, filled out all the paperwork. She filled it out. She told the state why she was doing this. She told the federal government why she was doing this. She kept all the paper trail. She knew exactly what to do. And when Kamala Harris saw why the state was losing $1.3 billion in school funds and whatever it was, instead of understanding her situation, guess what Kamala Harris did? Instead of offering help because of the child's illness, instead of understanding that the kid was still doing her homework and getting straight A's, instead of offering the mom any help she could possibly give as the DA of California with all the resources she's got on hand, all the abundant resources, she placed some handcuffs on her and sent her to jail. So if you have a child with a chronic illness, You better hope to dear God himself, the man upstairs, that you don't have any children missing school because of their chronic illness. That your child goes to school whether they have sickle cell anemia, neoblastoma, pneumonia, leukemia, epileptic seizures, a broken arm, a broken leg, whether your child passed away from a illness or a disease, you better hope that corpse and that child is at that school and ready to learn. Because Kamala Harris is going to jail you. I'm voting for Kamala Harris because she's black and she cares about black people. Well, there's an African American woman in the audience who got jailed by Kamala Harris because her child was sick. Not because the parent stole from a store, not because the parent was smoking or doing drugs, which I don't think she's going to jail for either. Not because the mother murdered someone, not because the mother, blatantly didn't pay taxes and refused to work with the IRS. Not because of anything the mother did. Not because the child shoplifted, hurt someone, beat someone, killed someone, nothing. But simply because the child was sick and didn't go to school, even though they filed the paperwork to do so. So instead of fighting chronic health diseases, instead of fighting these terrible diseases that we have in the country, Kamala Harris decided, you know what? I've got a stick and you got a carrot, and I'm going to use my power to undermine you. I'm going to use my power to put fear in you. I'm going to use my power to overfill our prison systems and cause massive problems and do things that are illegal and do things that shouldn't be done in the first place because you're black and I can do it. That's who Kamala Harris is. That's what she did. That's what she said. And you saw in the last video, she laughed about it. She laughed about it. So anyway, that's who your Democrats put up. That's who they put up. That's her. So I don't know. If I were you, I would not be voting for Kamala Harris. And I would support Sherry Peoples and all the other black and brown parents who were jailed by Kamala Harris because simply their kids weren't going to school. Instead of working with them, she jailed them.